Like many of the best professional photographers, Flo Ngala finds herself at the intersection of art and photojournalism. Over the last few years, the 26-year-old photographed some of the world's most iconic celebrities. But when Americans took to the streets in the wake of George Floyd's murder, Ngala was inspired to capture those scenes. Those images, taken in her hometown of New York City, draw from the street photography and portraits that stretch back to the start of her career.
On my way to school, I would have my camera with me. Literally, these streets, like anyone who looked beautiful.
Growing up in her Harlem neighborhood, Flo Ngala quickly discovered the beauty all around her, and more than a decade ago, began documenting it with her camera.
How old were you when you were taking these, you think?
I was like 15.
Ngala met us at a neighborhood pub. It was once home to a store run by her parents, who immigrated from West Africa in 1992.
They owned a hair braiding and beauty supply store. It was very much a family business, and like the first exposure I had to a Black-owned business, which was very powerful. It was really like an immigrant story of like just hard work and perseverance. Harlem is like this beautiful mecca of Black excellence. Seeing that and being inspired by that is what was ingrained in me at a very, very young age. They were just fearless and resilient, so that's where I got that from.
Her parents, along with a high school photography teacher, encouraged her to get creative.
We got really close, and I think that created a very safe space for me to create. She also was a very sharp woman, and that's kind of how I learned, I think for sure, just like the tough love of it. My dad passed away in 2008, and so he actually never saw me become a photographer, but I do feel like my entry into photography happened very soon after his passing. I remember I was always attracted to people who were deep in thought, seeing things like on the subway. You know, that's the actual best place to see all parts of New York City.
She began with self-portraits and street photography. Then, in college, she was cast as an extra in a Fat Joe music video. It wasn't her work on screen, but behind the camera that led to her big break.
I emailed the photos to the director and the producer. He sent those photos to someone that he works with at Atlantic Records.
A marketing executive at the record company liked what she saw and offered her an opportunity to photograph rapper Gucci Mane after he left prison in 2016. The following year, she captured Cardi B's ascent to fame, and Ngala was only 22.
I always really believed in myself, and ultimately that's what I think has manifested itself into exactly what I thought I wanted to do at 15.
She has since photographed various celebrities from rapper Busta Rhymes to actress Letitia Wright and politician Stacey Abrams, and landed covers on Billboard and the New York Times. And Ngala's main mission behind the camera, she says, is to tell the truth. With somebody like Cardi B, what do you see?
I still see her as a woman of color from the Bronx who got out the mud. That's exactly how I see her. And I know exactly what that feels like and looks like because I did it, my mom did it, and so there's no kind of, I think, narrative that I'm imposing on her.
When demonstrations swept New York a little more than a year ago following George Floyd's death, Ngala took to the streets, first to protest, then to photograph.
He was murdered the same week as my 25th birthday. I just was like, well, there's no way I can just sit here. And if it wasn't for photography, there's so many things that we would have never been able to see. And those things were the truth. That's how things were at the time. That's how people felt them to be. So I think that's what really felt powerful to me.
Ngala is also an alumna of the organization Figure Skating in Harlem, which you will recall we featured right here on CBS This Morning back in March. You remember? Yeah, she told me that it's a blessing to be an alumna and that sisterhood and the community of the program fostered her own personal development. She started there.
What can she do?
I know.
Honestly, she's a figure skater.
Fantastic.
I love the shot you just showed, the black and white with the hand raised and the guy with the mask in the background.
Really strong photograph.
And her personality is
she
so
looks for truth. I mean, that's one of the things we talked about when she's photographing. She searches for the truth in the image that she frames in her mind.
You know what I like? She captures moments.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
They're very candid that she just captures it right when it's happening.
Absolutely.
She's also she's had a couple of opportunities and she's really seized them. That's really.
And she's only 26 years old.
I know.
I just go ahead.
Well, I love that it's her photography teacher from high school that really encouraged her and set her on this path.
Mad props to that photography teacher for inspiring her. And we talked a little bit about those that came before her, like Gordon Parks, who also photographed really powerful scenes in Harlem when he was a photographer for Life magazine.
Yep.
She's inspired by that.
Again, another example of a teacher that sees something in you that you don't even see yourself sometimes.
Yeah, that's
Bravo.
what they say, one teacher can change your life.
Ngala, yes.
Thank you, Vlad.